How WWE can make Crown Jewel great. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, Crown Jewel is a little over a week away. At this point, a week and a half away, I guess. We were sitting there thinking about it. Wrestlepalooza had high expectations and then was very disappointing. Let's make sure that doesn't happen here. So what do we think will happen, or what do we want to happen to make sure this actually delivers? Because the card's looking really good.
Card's looking great. These are not our full predictions or anything of that matter. I mean, we may spoil it for ourselves as we go, but we do have 2 SmackDowns and a Raw left. We probably don't have a full card yet, but we wanted to make sure to get our thoughts about how they can really make this thing great. Speaking of great, you can stop by our live streams for this, Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs, youtube.com/CodWrestlePod. But let's get into this. So we're here to make it great. We have 4 matches officially on the card at this point. We do have John Cena taking on AJ Styles. We got Io and Rhea taking on the Kabuki Warriors. And of course, we got our 2 Crown Jewel Championship champion versus champion matches with Tiff taking on Stephanie and Cody taking on Seth Rollins. One way to make this Crown Jewel great would to be adding a couple great matches. Do we have any idea on what those could be?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ways that you could really go here. I'm going to take the simple, easy answer here. I'm taking a Sami Zayn open challenge of some sort. Now, you may say that's just a SmackDown thing. Yeah, you're probably right, because they love to use some time and fill some time on SmackDown. But I found myself really enjoying the open challenges. You get to, actually cheer Sami Zayn. He puts on a great match with somebody who maybe doesn't get enough TV time, or like a Javon Evans who kind of is getting brought up, things like that. And I don't think any of the open challenge matches have missed so far. I think they've all been really, really good. So for me, I'm like, yeah, you know what? If worse comes to worse, you could always just pencil in an open challenge match, and I'm going to be happy for it.
Yeah, look at that. Look at COD WrestlePod giving Sami Zayn some love. That might be a first. I agree with you. I mean, I didn't have that down, but of course, it'd be another championship match for one, which would be great. And like we've said on our reviews, our SmackDown reviews, go ahead and check them out. I think Sami Zayn's 4 for 4 so far on those open challenges. So, I mean, especially if you want to call somebody up like a Javon Evans again or something of that nature, I'd be down for that. I did have 2 potential matches here that I think could really round out this card, or I guess 3 in that matter. I did have the Roman and Jay tag team teaming up against Braun and Bronson. We'll probably get into that here in a minute. But I also have like Penta versus Dom. Dom said he's coming for that belt. Dom's getting ovations and stuff now. It feels like we're this close to him breaking down the barrier and really becoming a top guy in WWE. So you could do that. You could also do the Finn turn with that as well. Crown Jewel, make Crown Jewel feel big. And then if you really wanted to, I mean, we saw it for the first time on SmackDown. If you want to throw Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu in a one-on-one match at Crown Jewel, like any day of the week with those 2. So I think those are like 3 good matches that we could really round out this card with if need be.
Yeah, I didn't mention the Roman thing because I think that's a foregone conclusion. I think we all agreed that's going to be on there. Yeah, Drew and Jacob would be fantastic. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some way somehow Randy somehow gets penciled in. I know him and Cody are teaming up this week, so maybe that leads to something, or maybe the exact opposite. Maybe that leads to him not being on there. But I expect something coming from SmackDown.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But let's go on to the match that both of us already said is probably happening. So at Crown Jewel, we are probably going to get Roman Reigns and Jey Uso taking on Braun and Bronson Reed. I feel like this could be a really good match to add to this card overall. I think that is one of the most intriguing stories overall in the WWE right now, is this idea of like Roman Reigns coming back, still being the tribal chief while very much molding the next tribal chief in Jey Uso. I mean, we saw it on Raw on Monday that Roman just completely ignored Jimmy. He was looking Jey right in the eye. And Roman was being sort of heelish in a way, because he did beat the hell out of them with chairs after the match was done. And he attacked Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker after the match was done. So it wasn't like he was being good guy Roman Reigns here. How do we feel about the idea of this tag team match? You think that'd be a great addition to Crown Jewel?
Yeah, I think you almost kind of have to have this on there. I think you have Roman Reigns, obviously. It's Roman Reigns. Not much else needs to be said other than maybe don't do the returns as often. I feel like we've had 8 Roman Reigns returns. It's like every gone for a couple weeks, comes back, it's a return. So maybe we slow down on that. So I'd like to have him back as often as he could possibly be back without all the returning. But the Jey Uso stuff, we've talked about that. It's Jey Uso. He's obviously still super over, even with this new aggressive nature from Jey. The selfish kind of Jey Uso. But this has to kind of make the card. It's going to be interesting to see how the match unfolds when they do announce it, if we do get that match. Jey and Roman together, Jey being like the next tribal chief, is something that I find super, super interesting. How do they go about that? Does Jay end up leading and Roman follows? Like, are there other people that follow? Does Big Jim maybe have to make a choice? Does Roman make Big Jim fall in line for Jay? I think this is really just the start of something that's going to be really special for Jey Uso.
Yeah, I mean, I would really, really like this. And I thought about like how to make Crown Jewel great. That would be great if we do get this tag team match where Roman and Jay tag team against the Vision. You know, it'll be the 1500th match between Jay and someone else versus the Vision. But if maybe Roman even like sort of takes a step back and is like, yeah, I acknowledge you, Jey Uso. Like, you are going to lead us from now on. Like, I've already had my moment in the sun and now it's your turn to get on top. You've done the work. The idea of Jey Uso becoming the new tribal chief, that is extremely intriguing. It beats him being a yeet man. It beats him kind of just going out there and hyping up crowds and getting wins here and there over guys like LA Knight and stuff like that. I think that'd be a great thing to start at Crown Jewel. We really lean into that idea of Jey Uso being the next tribal chief.
Yeah, basically with the way that Raw ended, you're like, ooh, this is intriguing. I want more of this. So just give me more of that. And as long as we get that match, and I don't need like the Brons to obviously really kind of do anything except progress the storyline for Jay and Roman. Sucks to say if you're a Braun fan, but is what it is.
Braun and Bronson, man. Braun and Bronson. John Cena, AJ Styles. I mean, when it comes to how to make Crown Jewel great in terms of the John Cena, AJ Styles match, I think it's extremely simple. Like, they're going to get in the ring. They're going to have a great match. John Cena has overdone himself in every match so far except for the Brock Lesnar match. And AJ Styles is still AJ Styles. This is going to be phenomenal. There's only one way to ruin it, and that's for Brock Lesnar to show up in any capacity at all. So if you want to make Crown Jewel great and this match great, keep Brock Lesnar away from this match.
Yeah, I'll even take it one step further. I would want just anybody to stay away. I just want these two to be great. You say how to make Crown Jewel great, how to make it phenomenal, I guess, in this case, right? Just have them go one-on-one. Like you said, John Cena can still go. We don't have many more left of John Cena, so that's kind of sad. We also really don't have much more of AJ Styles left at the end of the day. So it's kind of a farewell to an era, end of an era. Kind of like the Shawn Taker Triple H, where like, like you're like, dang, there goes part of the childhood. There goes part of like the wrestling history, right? With these two guys. I want them to have like the proper kind of send off here, because I don't know when else you'd get something kind of this big, right? Because this is a huge thing, even though it is at a Crown Jewel and the fans wanted it. I mean, if the fans wanted it, you got to continue to give the fans what they want. And that's just a clean, great match between these two.
Yeah, and people have kind of complained about the build-up. I really don't need any build-up. Just us getting the match is enough build-up. I'm excited for it. I agree. Keep everybody away from it. Let's just get a good match here. A handshake at the end, maybe a hug, and a big old celebration from the crowd. Now, let's move on to the tag team match that got added on Monday. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley will be taking on the Kabuki Warriors. How can WWE make this match and Crown Jewel great?
Yeah, we talk about, a little bit on the Raw review, how there are just special times and special moments. And I think we're going to get one of those with Rhea Ripley on her birthday in her home country. That's going to be something special in and of itself. So that's already going to be great. I think that elevates that. But in terms of the match unfolding, I think this one kind of depends on Kairi Sane. I want Kairi Sane to kind of be a little bit more aggressive. I want to see more of Kairi Sane. Does she continue to kind of follow Asuka? Does she even take orders from Asuka? Does she just know what she needs to do and kind of be that like silent assassin? I think I would really enjoy that stuff from Kairi. I also, in this match, I want some moment of uncertainty. I want a moment of Io Sky basically being like, well, do I go with my family that I once loved at one point, or do I go with Rhea Ripley? What do I do here? And we all just have that cinematic, like, no, Io, don't do it. Please, Io, don't. I want something like that. We'll get into that more with the predictions and things like that. But I think this pretty much relies on Kairi Sane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this match is going to fail in any aspect. When you have these four in the ring, I think it's going to be spectacular and it's going to be great, just baseline. But that being said, my want and how to make this match so great is Kairi Sane. I think that Kairi Sane Crown Jewel should be the moment where she establishes herself on Asuka's side mentally as well. Like, so far we've had the buildup of like, yes, Asuka and Kairi turned on Io, but Kairi's still in the middle and she's very hesitant. She gives Io the picture of the family and please apologize, please come back. I want that moment to be crushed at Crown Jewel by Kairi Sane, not by Asuka. I don't want Asuka to force Kairi Sane. I want Kairi to look Io in the sky and be like, or Io in the eye and be like, nope, you made your decision. I'm out. I'm with Asuka. And and she's the one that puts the nail in the coffin on Io Sky. I think that'd be tremendous. I'm also in the boat of like, I think this would be a good place for the Kabuki Warriors to really cement themselves as a top women's tag team in all of wrestling, and even maybe going after that title by beating Io and Rhea. I know that we're in Rhea's hometown, and you know, she rarely gets to go there because it's Australia, so it feels like a long distant thing to happen. It feels like it's not going to happen, but I just think the combination of like a big Kyrie heel turn and her and Asuka being able to defeat Io Sky and Rhea in Rhea's hometown, woo, that feels like great long-term storytelling and booking from WWE.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of almost, like I said, we'll get into it with the predictions, but you kind of almost need to establish them again in terms of like the seriousness. And I think you can do that with Kyrie to where maybe they don't get the win, but it's a lot easier if they do get that win. But yeah, if there's some sort of impactful moment where Io basically is looking to almost apologize to Kyrie, and then Kyrie and Asuka, and then Kyrie just shuts that door. Like, I think that match has the potential to have some real cinema in it.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, like if Rhea ends up pinning Kyrie Sane here and we get a big ovation from her hometown crowd, like I'm not going to be mad. That's going to be great as well. It's just personally, you know, I cheer for the bad guys, right? I cheer for the bad guys. Then we get our 2 Crown Jewel Championship match, the very prestigious belt that we get to see for 30 minutes one night of the year, maybe. It's Tiffany Stratton taking on Stephanie Vaquer. How can WWE make sure that this thing is great?
Yeah, I think, you know, like I just said, we'll talk a little bit about our predictions, and I keep saying that because this one to me, this one's really, how do I want to word this? This one, in terms of if this match will be great or not, is on Tiffany Stratton, I think. I think that that's about as simple as it can be. I think there's a lot surrounding Tiffany right now, whether it's justified or not, in terms of some of the botches that may happen, you know, the moonsault, the debacle on Friday Night SmackDown, even back to SummerSlam with Jade and her. Like, some of the stuff's not as crisp as we really expect from Tiffany Stratton. And if somebody wants to be at the Tiffy top, you like how I did that? Yeah. You really have to cement yourself, and this is a perfect way for her to do that versus Stephanie Vaquer. It's like a little bit like she's slipping just a little bit in my eyes. So that's pretty much all it is. I want a clean match. I think that's important. I think just Stephanie versus Tiffany, at the end of the day, who's better? But at the end of the day, Tiffany, I think, really has to bring it in this one. And I don't think there's much that you can do to ruin this one.
I do think that in order for this match to be great, Tiffany Stratton kind of has to look at this match as like a prove it moment in a lot of ways. I mean, we can sit there and talk about the debacle on SmackDown and whose fault is it. There's people who blame every single one of them, right? I'm just going to say everybody involved in it was sloppy and a mess at the end of that match. I think it was everybody's fault. But that being said, there has been a lot of stuff in the past with Tiffany and Jade matches not going great, and Tiffany and Nia matches not going great. And that's really all we've gotten from this championship reign, which has led it to feel kind of like, like a lot of people are like, it's time for Tiffy time to end, right? We've even talked about that in the past. So I think in order for this match to be great, Tiffany Stratton has to step up. I mean, Stephanie Vaquer has proven time and time again that she'll do it in the ring. And I have absolutely no doubt about Stephanie Vaquer. But it's about what can Tiffany bring to this to make sure we get a clean match with 2 of the top superstars in the entire thing. And then, of course, whoever decides to win this, or whoever they decide on winning this, that's going to boost them like crazy. They're going to be the definitive better, champion leading us into the future of Raw and SmackDown. So if they do decide to give it to Tiffany at the end, she needs to have like a full-on prove-it match, get the win, and move on from it. But, my prediction may be different than that. And I think that I don't want to keep stepping on you here, but I also think that a clean winner is important here. I don't want, in a card where I look at it and I go, okay, there's going to be shenanigans and probably the Io Rhea match, just story-wise. You need that. In a Roman and Jay match, there's going to be shenanigans there. And then, of course, you get like Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I mean, come on now. This one feels like this needs to be a champion versus champion, and one person stands tall at the end of the night. That's how you make it great. Yeah,
I think so. And I think depending on who you ask in terms of how will this be great, I think it honestly could even boil down to who do they decide to win this? I mean, because you have Stephanie, who did just kind of feel like a fresh new beginning. And if you have her lose here, people could say, oh, well, that kind of ruins it or takes some of the lightning out of the bottle there a little bit. But this is one, this and the John match, like those two, I think those need clean winners. And I expect shenanigans and all the other stuff.
Oh, 100%, 100%. One other way to make Crown Jewel great that I had to tack on to the Tiffany Stratton, Stephanie Vaquer match. A Bianca Belair return after it would be pretty damn good. I'm missing her. SmackDown's missing her. And you know what? Tiffany Stratton is missing her. If you want to get that Tiffany Stratton title reign, a little bit more juice in it right away, please have Bianca Belair come back. If it's not on Crown Jewel, make it the SmackDown before Crown Jewel. I don't know. We need her back, period. All right? I want Bianca back.
Yeah, we keep kind of saying it and saying it and saying it, and hopefully she, is healed up. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on that, but we've been wanting this for months, and I don't know when we're getting it, but it desperately needs it.
Desperately. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. This one just is going to be great. Like they have proven it in 3 matches beforehand. Cody Rhodes tore his pec off his bone, and they still were able to put on a 5-star match in a Hell in a Cell. So these two, on paper, it's going to be great no matter what. But how in the world can Crown Jewel and WWE, how can they give a twist to this match that makes it feel even greater than the ones before?
Yeah, I think that depends on, take the easy answer out here, I guess, and say it depends on how they want to go about it. I think there's multiple ways they can kind of book this match. This match is definitely going to have the most shenanigans, though, between the two. But they keep harping on, 3-0 versus Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. It's Seth saying, I need to get this win. I have to get this win. And Paul saying, well, of course you're going to get this win. It's going to be interesting to see if the vision does interfere or not. I think I'm probably leaning the way towards some sort of interference, even if Seth doesn't want it, and you end up getting Seth the win in some sort of vision implodement, but at the same time, you got the win, so everything should be okay. I think that's maybe the more intriguing way to do it, because at the end of the day, Seth has shown he can't really beat Cody one-on-one by himself, and he can't beat anybody one-on-one by himself. There also is, and maybe it's a far chance, maybe there's somebody else that Seth brings into the equation. Seth maybe he doesn't trust Bronson and Paul, so he says, you know what, I've got somebody else, much like the Becky Lynch thing. Hey, I trusted Becky, that's my wife. Maybe there's somebody else Seth brings, but there's some sort of shenanigans here that's going to help Seth get this win. And that's really the story that you need, because Cody's Cody Rhodes. That doesn't really do anything. That doesn't hurt Cody Rhodes. And at the end of the day, the only thing that could happen is Cody really kind of hurting the Seth progression, I think, by Cody getting the win there.
Yeah, the way you make this match great is you have Seth Rollins pin Cody Rhodes at the end of the day. And that's not just me making my prediction. There may be things happening on SmackDown and Raw before this event to where I change my mind on the whole ordeal, because it is Cody Rhodes at the end of the day, and he did just kind of return before Wrestlepalooza. So he's kind of fresh back into our faces, but this needs to happen. If you want to continue this huge story, which we're so invested in to the point where we had Brock Lesnar walk out and destroy John Cena. That might feel separate, but they've now mentioned Brock in every Vision promo since that match. So I feel like he's definitely a part of this overall Vision story. We did that to John Cena on this retirement tour to help build this whole story revolving around the Vision. You need to have Seth Rollins pin Cody Rhodes and be able to claim that he is the champion of all champions in the WWE and really cement himself on top of everybody. And that needs to happen at Crown Jewel to make this whole thing feel great.
Yeah, like you said, they've mentioned him multiple times. Even to the spot where Brock's like, hey, let's talk, Paul. And then Paul and Bronson and Braun are on SmackDown. And they're like, well, why are they on SmackDown anyway? Well, Seth obviously sends them, according to Seth, right? But obviously that seems a little fishy. So that's really the interesting storyline. And the Vision, you could say, for months have been kind of the same thing over and over again. So I feel like we're really getting some true development with the Vision here. And this is the way to really kind of jumpstart that.
Yeah. Another way I think that WWE can really shock us and make Crown Jewel feel great is if Seth Rollins does not get any help and beats Cody Rhodes some way, somehow. He can still cheat during the match and be that heel, because he is a heel at the end of the day, and he can do dirty things to get the win. But if he doesn't have any Vision members come out at all, or even if they want to come out and he sends them to the back, and one way or another he still gets the win over Cody Rhodes, that would build this so much, because Cody Rhodes has so much stock built in him that where it doesn't even feel possible for somebody to just clean pin Cody Rhodes anymore. That would feel absolutely insane. I really think it would do well for Seth Rollins, given that we are kind of coming off of Seth being sort of goofy in the Becky, Seth, AJ Lee, CM Punk thing that they did there for a little bit. Seth's done really good work on the 2 Raws since then with the watch and his promo, very serious and animated, and it feels really good to have that Seth back. And if he were to somehow get a win over Cody Rhodes without the Vision getting involved, man, that would do wonders for him, and it would feel great.
Yeah. I think this match is going to be, like I mentioned with the Rhea, Io, Asuka, and Kairi match, some cinema here. This one has a chance to have probably the most cinema. Well, either this or the Roman J stuff, but if that's on there. There's going to be some matches that are some really good cinema stuff that has some really big story beats here at Crown Jewel, which is nice to say, because Crown Jewels haven't always been treated like that, right? Crown Jewels at times have been just kind of passovers, or you're like, you know what? I don't really need to watch that. But I think this one has the potential to really kind of jumpstart stuff on the road to the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, the card is great at the moment, and there's only a couple good matches that you'd probably put on there left, and those that we have already said here would all be great. So this is a really rounded out card. It's got a hell of a great starting time. Everybody's going to be ready bright and early to watch that, but I guess we get to feel what most people feel like overseas for most of the PLEs for one time. But those are all the ways that we thought Crown Jewel could be great. And I hope that WWE pulls it off because Wrestlepalooza was a big old stinker, but weekly TV since then has been really good. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, you got to kind of keep that momentum. I mean, they hyped up Wrestlepalooza to be so good, and it was so not good, so bad. And then they've hit everything since then. So if they kind of want to keep that fire going and they keep that interest level going, like you got to deliver here.
Yeah, we want it to be great. We're trying to be positive about it. Anyway, tell us in the comments how you think that Crown Jewel can be great. Wrestlepalooza, it can't be great. It was trash. But and stop by our live streams, youtube.com/COD WrestlePod. We do Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs like Crown Jewel. We will be live bright and early, so come join us there. And then for everything else for the COD WrestlePod, it's at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It'll lead you to all of our socials. Please give us a follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we're confident that you'll love it. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.